Hare Krishna Mataji. So when you're
Hare Krishna
ready,
Prabhu.
yeah, so
Oh,
kindly start with the invocation,
yeah,
please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, chapter 18, slok 54. ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्मा न शुचाति न काङ्क्षति शमो सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
भक्ताममुभिजानाति जभञ्जश्चास्मि तत्ततो ततो मां तत्ततो गत्ता विशते तदनन्तरम्.
One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
सर्वकर्मण्यपि सदा कुर्वनो मद्व्यापाश्रयो मत्प्रसादादपनोति शाश्वतं पदं व्ययम्.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches eternal and imperishable abode by my grace.
चेताशा सर्वकर्माणि मयि संन्यस्य तत्परा बुद्धियोगमुपाश्रिता मच्चित्ता सततं भव.
In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me.
मच्चित्ता सर्वदुर्गणे मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि अथ चित्तमहङ्कारन्न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि.
If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act the false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
यदहङ्कारमाश्रितो न जुत्सस्यो इति मन्यसे मिथ्यैषो व्यवसायस्ते प्रकृतिं स्तं निजखति.
If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare.
स्वभावो येन कौन्तेयो निबद्धो शेन कर्मणा कर्तुं नेच्छसि जन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य वशोऽपि तत्.
Under illusion, you are not declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti.
ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृदयदेशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रमायन् सर्वभूतानि जन्त्रुराणि मायया.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
तमेव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत तत्प्रसादात् परं शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्.
O Scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode.
इति ते गानमक्षतां गुज्जतरं मया विमृश्यैतो दशेशेन यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु.
Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
सर्वगुज्जतमं भूय शृणु मे परमं वच इष्टहौषि मे दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्.
Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you, my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is your benefit.
Manmana bhava madbhakta madjajimang namaskuru mame vaishyashi shaktam te pratijane priyo hoshime.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tang sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma sucha.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
Idang te na tapashkayo na bhaktayo kadachana na cha shushusrebo bachang na cha mangjoho poshuoti.
This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere, are devoted, are engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me.
Ja idang paramang gujjang mad bhaktesho vidhasyati bhakting moi parang krita mame vaishyoto samshaya.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he'll come back to me.
Na cha tashman manusheshu kashmine priyo kritama bhavita na cha me tashmadana priyo taro bhubi.
There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Adhishyate cha jang imang dharmang shangbado ma bayo gyano jaggeno tenaho mishto shamiti me mati.
And I declare that he who studies the sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence.
Sruddhabanana shuyascha srinuyado pijonaro shubhapi mukta shubhalokan prapnuyat puno karmanam.
And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell.
Kochidetang shrutang partho tayoika greno chetasha kochidageno shammaho pranashtaste dhananjaya.
O son of Pruta, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled?
Arjunuvacha nashtamaha smritirlabdha tatprasadan maya chuto sthito hashmi gato shandeho korishe vachanang tava.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and I am prepared to act according to your instructions.
Sanjaya uvacha ittahang vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatana shangvadomi mamo srosha madbhutang ramaharshanam.
Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard the conversation of the two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end.
Vasa prasadat shruta vanetad gujyamahang param jogang yogesharat krishnat shakhat kathayato swayam.
By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna.
Rajan sangsmrita shangvadomi mamadbhutam keshavarjunaya punnam rishyami cha muhurmuho.
O king, As I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment.
Tacha Shangsmrita Rupo Mattadbhutang Hare Vishwayo me Mahan Rajan Rishyami cha Puna Puna.
O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again.
Jatra Jageshwara Krishna Jatra Patha Dhanudhara Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama.
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and mortality. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavadgita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadasa Adhyayah. Very beautiful recitations, Mataji and Sahiti as well. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are a bit early now today in completing the recitations. We shall go into the next part of the program. Chanting. So maybe we can do 3 minutes more chanting as well, so if possible, or maybe devotees can take an opportunity. Okay, so before we start the chanting, so can I request any devotees to do the Panchatattva mantra so that we can start japa?
I will do. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Rama Hare 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 Krishna Rama Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, if anyone has not yet completed the chanting, so kindly complete the chanting behind. So today we shall enter the next part of our program, Kirtan. So today it is Kirtan by Sanchita Mataji and family. And Hare Krishna Gaurangi Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Hare Krishna Meena Mataji. Hare Krishna Sanchita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you for kindly joining. Okay, so if
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone, Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanvat Pranam Mataji.
Yeah, just give 1 minute, yeah, we'll just set up and start.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhasha Mataji. Hare Krishna, Pranshu Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Can you hear them?
Now, yes, Mataji. Now I can hear Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Is it audible, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. A little bit. If you just keep a bit nearby, that may be
Oh,
good.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Louder. Louder. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jaya Gopi Jana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Vanachari Jaya 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 Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Srivaya Dhari Yashodhana Braja Jana Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Yashodhana Dana Braja Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Radha Jaya Sita Jaya Sita Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Radha Landeswara Radha Landeswara Radha Landeswara Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Landeswara Radha Landeswara Radha Landeswara Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Subhadra Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gora Hari Gora, Hari Gora, Hari Gora, Hari Gora, Hari Gora, Hari Gora. Hari Gor, Jai Gor, Hari Gor. जय राधा गोकुलानंद की
Ja,
जय राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की
ja,
ओम की
ja,
दशरथ प्रभुपाद की
ja.
जय सिया राम जय हनुमान
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. So, and Prabhasha Mataji and Pranshu. It's very beautiful kirtan, and everyone Mataji, Sanjita Mataji as well.
Thank you Prabhu Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we still have 1 more minute for the kirtan. So we shall move on to the next part of our program, that is Mangalacharan prayers. Before Mangalacharan prayers, on the auspicious moment of Lord Ramchandra's temple in Ayodhya, so it would be very nice if we just do Raghupati Raghava Rajaram, so that Gaurangi Mataji, are you happy? And then proceeding after that with Mangalacharan prayers.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And would can I request the devotee to respond with Gaurangi Mataji? Radha Shekha Mataji? Yeah,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah.
thank you.
So when are you going?
Okay. Shall I share, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Sitaram Patita Pavana Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram.
Sitaram, 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 Jaya Sitaram.
Sitaram, 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 Jaya Sitaram.
Sitaram, 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 Bolo Sitaram.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Bhaj Pyare Tu Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana 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 Sitaram.
Bolo Sitaram, 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 Bolo Sitaram.
Bolo
Sitaram,
Sitaram,
Sitaram, Bhaj
Sitaram.
Pyare Tu Sitaram.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Raghupati Raghava Sitaram.
Raghupati Raghava Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava Rajaram.
Sitaram, 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 Bolo Sitaram.
Sitaram, 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 Bolo Sitaram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
जय सीताराम भगवान की जय,
जय
जय हनुमान जी की जय,
जय
शिला प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय.
Okay.
Beautiful Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna
Mangala
Prabhu.
Saraswati.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much, Gaurangi Mataji. It was such a beautiful bhajan, Ram bhajan, in the occasion of this auspicious occasion of Ram Mandir inauguration. Prabhu, before Mataji does the Mangal chant, would you have time for a few minutes? Purvash and Pranshu wanted to do the Ram bhajan, another Jai Ram Ram Ram. If you have
Yes,
time,
Mataji.
otherwise you
Yes,
can
sure.
do it also if it's we are running out of time.
Yes,
Okay,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yeah,
So as
Mataji.
you
Yes, please go on, Mataji. Yeah.
okay, Purvash and Pranshu.
Ram 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 Jai Ram 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 Jai Ram 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 Dasharathanandana Ram Ram Dasharathanandana Ram Ram Dasharathanandana Ram Ram Dashamukhammadana Ram Ram Pashupati Ram Ram Mahavimochana Ram Ram Pashupati Ram Ram Mahavimochana Ram Ram Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Ram 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 Dasharathanandana Ram Ram Dashamukhamardana Ram Ram Dashamukhamardana Ram Ram Dashamukhamardana Ram Ram Parvati Pati Ram Papa Vimojana Ram Pashupati Ram Papa Vimojana Jaya
Very beautiful, Mataji. And once again, so when you just open your mouth, all these beautiful songs flow through.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. This was not prepared, Prabhu. Just seeing the lyrics, they had heard it a few times, but just impromptu. So we just forgot. We could have started with this one, but yeah, finally they decided. So that was nice. They made it. Thank you. Honored for Lord Ram. So yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity. Sorry we took a few extra minutes, but yeah.
It's all for the Lord, Mataji. So it is so beautiful. Thank you so much for kindly sharing those Ramanam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Ram Ram Rami Tirame Rami Manorami Sahasranama Tattulям Ramanama Varanani. So just hearing the one name of Lord Rama is just hearing Vishnu Sahasranama once 1,000 times. Okay, so thank you so much. Garugi Mataji, if you are ready, so please go on with
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chachurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatvitam Tam Sajivam Sabdhuitam Sabdhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakha Vistamsa हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपति गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुति देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautiful Mangalacharan prayers. Thank you so much. So, next part of our program, Premadvani prayers. Can I request Sakshi Mataji? Would you like to do Premadvani prayers?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अशोत्तरा शता श्रीमाद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला AC भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अशोत्तरा शत श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंदा की
Jai.
नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय
Jai.
इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रीला प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की
Jai.
वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
नवद्वीप धाम की
Jai.
जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
गंगा माई की
Jai.
यमुना माई की जय
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की
Jai.
संकीर्तन यज्ञ की
Jai.
बृहद मृदंगा की
Jai.
सामवेता भक्त वृंदा की
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
Hari Hari Bol.
all glories to the assembled devotees Hare
Hare
all glories to the assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much,
thank
Mataji.
you man thank you Hare Krishna
Very beautifully done. Premadvani prayers. Okay, so thank you so much, all the devotees. So kindly you have come here and giving your valuable association. Okay, so Meena Mataji wanted to say something.
No, I was just nothing. No, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so if you're all happy, so we shall move on to the next program. Hare Krishna, Vipina Vihari Dasa Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, and thank you so much for kindly accepting to speak few words on Bhagavadgita or Gita Mahatmya. And thank you so much. So now the session is yours. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amoga Prabhu. Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Hope you're doing well and doing nicely in your bhakti. Very inspiring and encouraging to hear some very beautiful Ram bhajan. I think we need to incorporate that a little bit more
in future sessions, especially with the upcoming event of the inauguration of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi, which is a Yuga event in Kali Yuga. It happened last time in Treta Yuga, and then now it's happening in Kali Yuga. So we are fortunate to actually be around to be able to witness this auspicious event on this planet. So I don't know, just a suggestion. Maybe on Monday, if you all can convene and do some Ram Katha on that day. I don't know. I'm just suggesting if that's possible, if that's feasible for the Sangha to do. If I was free, I would have volunteered to actually do some Katha on Sri Ramchandraji. But unfortunately, I'll be working. My misfortune. I'll be working on this day. But anyway, it's down to all of you if you can do that. Otherwise,
so if you're happy, you can just speak. We can utilize this session if you think.
Today.
Okay, so it's a bit of short notice. Because yeah, I like to prepare myself, but we'll see if there is any minutes left towards the end. We can talk a little bit about Sri Ramchandraji if we have time. But yeah, I would love to speak on Sri Ramchandraji. And I remember a few years back, I did a talk on the on the days around Ram Navami. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so hopefully everyone is doing well and good. And again, thank you very much for allocating your time and coming for the Sangha and patiently listening to some Krishna Katha. So following on from last week, we were actually discussing verse 66. Sarvadharman pratijya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So we utilized the whole session last week to actually discuss this verse, and we unpacked the verse and then we discussed it from various angles, quoting from different places, from the different acharyas also. And now we're moving forward. So I wanted to share the screen to actually follow up from what we've left from last week. So let me just share the screen. Okay. So I just wanted to briefly recap on the verses leading to 1866 so that we get a little bit of a context what we are talking about. So 1864. So I just wanted to mention that, and also as a recollection that Krishna has spoken in the previous verses, previous chapters, sort of I'm going to tell you the most confidential knowledge. So Krishna told Arjun the most confidential knowledge. But as the chapters progressed, as Krishna's instructions progressed, here we come to a point where Krishna is actually saying, out of the most confidential knowledge I have given you, this is the most confidential one. So that's why he says here, Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuyaha, Shinume Paramam Vachaha, Rishto Simed Hridam Iti, Tato Vakshami Te Hitam. So, because you're my very dear friend, I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. So we have to remember here that Krishna did speak confidential knowledge in the past, in the previous chapters. And he's saying out of those confidential knowledge, I'm going to tell you the one which is even more confidential knowledge of all of this confidential knowledge. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. And Krishna says, because Arjuna is his dear friend. So let's see what Krishna says as the most confidential knowledge of all. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Krishna is saying, the most confidential knowledge is, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So this is the most confidential knowledge. Always think of Krishna, become his devotee, worship him, and offer all the homage unto him. And Krishna says, I promise that you will come to me without fail. Why? Because Arjun, you're my very dear friend. Now, the next verse. Krishna further says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shuchaha. So, this verse is a very famous verse, and we freely quote this verse in many instances. We refer to this verse in many instances, that we have to abandon all religion, all varieties of religion, and just surrender to me. So this is what Krishna is saying, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So last week we went into this verse and we dedicated the whole time, the whole session discussing on this verse. And we talked about in what context Krishna said to abandon all types of religion, all types of dharmas, and the only dharma which he recommends to Arjuna is that leave everything behind and just surrender to me. Surrender means do everything for Krishna. Think of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do not have any doubt on Krishna's words. And whatever we are doing, we put Krishna as the center of all of our activities and depend wholly and fully on Krishna. Prabhupada quotes here, actually this verse is not in the original Bhagavad-gita's 1972 Macmillan. This has been added later. This is quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas, is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's also in the Vayu Puran. So here Krishna is saying, Anukulasya Sankalpaha Patikulyasya Varjanam Rakshishyati Ti Vishwaso Gopritve Varanam Tatha Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Satvidha Sharanagatihi. So here Prabhupada explains, or the purport explains that what Sharanagati actually means. And it means, according to devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that would lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. So whatever we are doing, we should do everything which will actually make us progress further in our bhakti, in essence. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, Brahmana, Vaishya, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, whichever position we are. But if executing his duty, one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. So whichever position we are, we still have to put Krishna in the center. This is Sharanagati. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. So anything what we're doing in our life, which doesn't help us in our Krishna consciousness, has to be avoided. So Krishna is saying, abandon all religion, abandon all type of dharmas. The only thing you do is surrender to me. But surrender also means whatever you do, you're doing which will take you closer to me. So one should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. This is Sharanagati. There is 6 aspects to Sharanagati. Shadvidha Sharanagati. Shadvidha is 6. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. So in the process of our existence, in our service to Krishna, we should not think how we're going to maintain our body, how the soul and the body will remain together. So soul and body remaining together means to keeping ourselves alive. We should not be worrying about this. We should leave it on Krishna to worry, or leave it on Krishna to do whatever he wants with our body. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. So one should depend fully on Krishna, which means we can't do anything ourselves. Without Krishna's support, without Krishna's sanction, without Krishna's mercy, we cannot progress in our life. If one has this mood, this is Sharanagati. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation, the mystic yoga system, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. So what the purport says is this: if one has renounced karma yoga, has renounced dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, pranayam, and all these different jnana yoga and all these different methods to come to Krishna, and only surrender to Krishna wholeheartedly. Surrender means 100%. Does that mean 99%? Surrender means 100%. If one has surrendered to Krishna 100%, one do not need to perform all these yogas and all these dharmas. Even varnashrama, like the purport says, one may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position, but if he's not doing it to come closer to Krishna, even varnashrama dharma is redundant. One has to do it for the purpose of Krishna, of our Krishna consciousness. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute some methods. That simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time, and one can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reactions. So this is surrender. And at this point, Krishna is telling Arjun, leave everything behind, whatever you're doing, do it for me, leave your results unto me, depend on me fully, be in this consciousness that whatever you're doing, I am the one who's sanctioning everything. And do not worry whether you'll be alive or you'll leave your body. I will take care of that. This is surrender to Krishna. So now progressing forward from what we were doing last week, last week we did this verse. So now the Bhagavad Gita becomes even more interesting. It even become even more interesting. So remember, we have only 12 verses left for these divine instructions to come to a pose. So we're approaching towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna also gives some very useful advice on the instructions he has actually given throughout the 18 chapters. And the next verse is this. Is there anyone, any volunteer who would like to actually read the Sanskrit and the translation, please? Volunteer?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I can do it.
Hare Mataji, yeah, please go for it.
1867, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
Sorry. Idam de natu posh. Sorry, I just need to make it.
You want me to increase the font?
Yeah, it's just stuck on my.
That better?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
I mean, just...
Idam te nata pashkaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chakshushrushsave vacham na chamam ya abhaya shuyati. Translation. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Right. I'm just wondering if anyone would like to read the purport, please. It's quite short, so we can read the whole purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please can I read? Thank you.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended to pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demonic persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous. Even one who is not sensuous but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita. Could you scroll up, please?
So, yeah, better.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Ji, Prabhuji. Understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. So, idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashrushave vacham na chamam yo bhyasyati. So, this verse has got 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sections, sorry. And the first one, Krishna says, this confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. So here, the first thing which Krishna says is idam te na tapaskaya. This na tapaskaya means, as you know, tapa means austerity. So someone who is not willing to undergo austerity, or someone who is not austere, one should not explain the message of Bhagavad Gita to that person. Now, what it means by not why someone who is not austere, and why we should not be explaining Bhagavad Gita to that person. Now, austerity, tapa, is actually voluntarily accepting difficulties in our life for the pleasure of Krishna, or for the sake of advancing in Krishna consciousness. So tapa means, for a devotee, means one who voluntarily accepts difficulties, situation which is uncomfortable, situation which are not palatable or pleasant, but for the sake of advancing in Krishna consciousness. For example, waking up early in the morning, having a bath in the morning, not engaging in sensuous activities like watching movie, cinema, and things like that. Not engaging in activities which are going to make the senses more disturbed. Undergoing activities like this, which control the mind, and sama means controlling the mind, and dhamma means controlling the senses, and to lead in a austere life for the sake of the pleasure of Krishna, or for the sake of advancing in Krishna consciousness, that's austerity. Now, what austerity actually means in the context of not explaining Bhagavad Gita to those people who are not austere means, the reason is when one undergoes austerity, it means one is going through a cleansing of our impurities. So this tapa means one is able to clean the impurities which are inside the heart. Man, mo, kam, lobha, krodha, mada, matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, enviousness, lust, and all this. So all these antakarana, all these impurities which are inside, when one undergoes for tapa, for austerity, which means voluntarily to accept difficulties for the pleasure of Krishna, or for advancing in Krishna consciousness, that's austerities. Now, if one is not undergoing austerities, these impurities which are inside our heart is still there. And if we explained this message of Bhagavad Gita to those individuals who are not austere, they will not be able to get the message, they will not be able to appreciate the message, and in that process, they may cause some offense. So which means they will reject the message, or they will say that, oh, Krishna is not the supreme person, Krishna is not the supreme teacher, the Bhagavad Gita is mythology, the Bhagavad Gita is something fictitious, things like that. They will not have they will not be a recipient of this knowledge. So that's why it is recommended that one should not actually teach this message to those who are not austere. And the second instruction which Krishna says, Nar bhaktaya kadachana. Never give this instruction to someone who is not a devotee. Now, if someone is not a devotee, he will not be able to accept the fact that Krishna is a supreme person. Krishna is the one who protects me. Krishna is the one who is supplying everything to me. Krishna is the one who is the Lord of this universe. Krishna is the one who is the supreme personality of Godhead. They will not be able to accept this. So not being able to accept this, the supremacy of Krishna by not being a devotee, the message will not go to that person. This confidential message, this message of the Bhagavad Gita, they will never be able to actually appreciate and understand this, because in their mind, they haven't taken Krishna to be the person, the supreme person who is going to give us the instruction. Na bhaktaya kadachana, na chashushu save vacham, or one who is not engaged in devotional service. Here, engaging in devotional service also means, this word ashrushu save means one who is not willing to hear. Bhakti is shravanam. So that's why it says starting point is one who is not even engaged in devotional service. Shravanam. So if one is not willing to hear this message, one should not be giving this message to those persons, because they will commit offense again. They will be offending the Lord, they will be offending the devotees, they will be disrespecting the Bhagavad Gita and its message, and that will cause even more fall down for that type of person. That's why one who is not willing to hear, one should not give this message to those type of persons. And then finally, Nachamam yo yashayati. No to one who is actually envious of me. So one who feels that Krishna, sometimes you get across people who say that Krishna is a warmonger. Krishna was the one who orchestrated the Mahabharata war, where millions of people were killed, millions of women were made widows and billions of children were made orphan. Many people talk like that. You know, they said Krishna is a warmonger. Krishna created this war. Krishna created this Chaturbunyam Mahamaya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. He created this caste system. He created this division in society, which is a cause for abuse for different section of the society. So they are very envious of Krishna, and they feel that Krishna is someone who is not the supreme person, but he claims to be the supreme person. Things like that. Those who are envious of Krishna, one should not be disclosing the message of Bhagavad Gita to those people, because again, they will be committing more offense and they will be falling down even more. And they will not be able to appreciate this because they will not be able to understand the message by being envious. So here, Krishna speaks about who do we don't disclose this message. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is actually envious of me. Yeah? Let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport very quickly. Persons who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality, or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, takes the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So what Prabhupada is saying here, sometimes there are people who actually talks about Krishna, they make commentaries about Krishna, but they're not devotees of Krishna. And they're making all these as a show and for business. Even though they are writing about Krishna, they are talking about Krishna, but they're not devotees of Krishna, one should not be explaining to those people the message of Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous, which means those who are running after sense objects. Even if one is not sensuous, but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, right? So even if one is able to control his senses and is also strictly following the rules of the Vedic scripture, but if he's not a devotee, he should not be taught this Bhagavad Gita also. He should not be taught this Bhagavad Gita because he will not be able to understand the message. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, right? There are many people around in this world, they say, I'm Krishna Bhakta, I'm worshipping Krishna, I'm a devotee of Krishna, but the person is not actually engaged in Krishna conscious activities. He also should not be given the message of Bhagavad Gita. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained the Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. So someone who hasn't got full faith of Krishna, who is not engaging in the devotional service of Krishna, and who also doesn't consider Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no possibility of them understanding Bhagavad Gita. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. So there are many people who haven't learned Bhagavad Gita for the right process. The right process is for the Guru Parampara, Evam Parampara Praptam, Imam Raja Sarvavidu. Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says, this Parampara was broken. I am actually re-establishing this Parampara so that you can understand this message. So, and the Parampara system is one should learn Bhagavad Gita from the one who has understood Bhagavad Gita. And this is the Guru Parampara system. And if one doesn't understand the Gita through a teacher, like Krishna is a teacher of Arjun. And if one doesn't understand the Bhagavad Gita through the medium of a teacher, of a guru, of course, a teacher or guru who is actually in the parampara, connecting to Krishna, one should not try to write their own opinion or commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. There are many people nowadays who randomly come out from the blue and start commenting and writing on Bhagavad Gita, but they don't have a guru. Not only guru, they don't have a bona fide guru. And because even in this material society, in this material world, when somebody is born, they're not born with knowledge, material knowledge I'm talking about. So they have to go through a process where they have to learn. So they go to the school, they go to the college, they go to university, and they go on higher education and all that. But they are being taught. They are being taught by someone who knows the subject matter. By getting to the right place and the right person, one will be able to get the right knowledge. But if someone out of the blue start reading Bhagavad Gita without a guidance of a guru, they will be lost. They will not be able to get the message, and they will not be able to come out with the right realization, of Krishna's words. So that's why one has to accept a guru, and from the authority of the pure devotee, one can speak about the Bhagavad Gita. But here Prabhupada says, without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. So this scripture is sacred, is very confidential, and you may have experience that this book is being distributed throughout the world in thousands or millions, but not everyone actually gets the message. So if you see it in a way, Krishna says this is the most confidential knowledge. So confidential means one should not be giving it to many people. One should keep it among the devotees. And how is that possible that this book is being distributed? It's confidential, it carries a confidential knowledge, but it's being distributed massively, in thousands or millions even throughout the world. But the point here is that, yes, this book is being distributed on a mass scale, which should be done. I'm not saying shouldn't be done, of course, because one day that person who holds the book, will get to that realization that Krishna is the Supreme Person, and then will connect himself to Krishna. But the point I want to make here, there's so many people who have actually got the book, the Bhagavad Gita, and who have heard the Bhagavad Gita, and how can it be that a confidential knowledge is being massively shared? It cannot be confidential anymore, isn't it? It cannot be confidential anymore because it's been distributed to everyone. How can a secret be a secret when it's being, publicly distributed to everyone? That's not something which is which contradict itself. But that's from the mundane material point of view. A secret will remain a secret because Bhagavad Gita is a book which one should not actually not only understand, but one should actually realize. This conversation is a sacred conversation. Even if one read it again and again and again and again and again and again, it doesn't mean that one has got the message, because this message is only sanctioned by Krishna. Krishna is the only person who will actually give the person that message. The message, otherwise the message will stay guhya. That's why Krishna says, those people who are not austere, who are not devoted, who are not engaged in devotional service, and who are envious of me, they will never get this message. Even though this book is being distributed in millions, they will not get this message unless and until Krishna bestow his mercy on them. The message will still stay guhya, will still stay confidential, because it's not like an academic textbook where you read it from cover to cover and then you put it into practice and then you will get the result. You take the Bhagavad Gita, yes, I'm saying it in a different perspective. Yeah, you take the Bhagavad Gita, you apply it in your life, you will get the result, of course. But if you feel that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are doubting the message of Krishna. You are someone who doesn't understand that this that he's a devotee of Krishna. You will stay stagnant. You will not be able to progress. The person will not be able to progress in his devotional life. So this message will stay guhya, will stay confidential. It's not like any other book. Even if you read it 20 times or 30 times or 50 times or throughout your life, if Krishna doesn't sanction that, the message will still stay confidential. So that's why we should always pray to Krishna that he discloses this message to us. Even if we are reading it and reading it and reading it, we should always pray to Krishna that this message is disclosed to us, that Krishna give us his mercy, that we are able to understand his words. I'm sure when you read Bhagavad Gita, maybe once, and then you read it another one time, twice, thrice, every time you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will realize that you're getting a new message every time. This is the magic of Bhagavad Gita. This is why the Gita is transcendental, because Krishna will be revealing this message to you all the time. It's not an academic textbook. It's not a book which should be read in the universities, and at the end of your course, you get a certificate, and then it means that you've understand the message. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't work like this. The Bhagavad Gita works for devotees, for those who have actually accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, this message will remain guhya. Yeah? I don't know any other, I can't comment on any other scripture. If you read it from cover to cover, and then you can get the message. But as far as the Bhagavad Gita is concerned, you read it from beginning to end. If Krishna doesn't sanction, you will not get the message. So that's why one has to approach the Gita with the right mood, and one has to pray to Krishna to reveal those information, reveal those knowledge to us, even though we're not qualified. But at least we are a devotee, because one of the foremost qualities to read and understand the Gita is one has to be a devotee. Now, I know a question will come to your mind. We actually hold Bhagavad Gita sessions, and the public are invited, and some of them are envious of Krishna. Some of them are devotees. Some of them are in the middle. Some of them doesn't know anything about Krishna. So Prabhupada has actually explained this in the next verse. What one should do. But let's see what the next verse says. Right. Anyone would like to actually read this verse, please? 1068 and the translation.
Shall read it, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Usha Mataji. Usha Mataji, go on.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Ya idam paramam guhyam matpratyesya pitasyati bhakti mai param pritva mame veshyasya samsayah.
Yes, Mataji.
For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Do you mind reading the purport as well, please? Because it's a very short one. And
Okay.
yeah.
Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and the Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained the persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advise in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead.
Yes. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Thank you, Guruji.
Yeah. I was mentioning about whether one should be speaking Bhagavad Gita to devotees, non-devotees, those who are faithless, and all that. The answer will come in the following verses. But here, Krishna talks about three different things. One who actually who speaks about the Gita, and one who, not here, but after that, Krishna talks about one who study about the Gita. Krishna will talk about it. Now he's explaining about one who actually speaks about the Gita. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So here, when we are talking about speaking the Bhagavad Gita, is those who are actually sharing this knowledge to others, even though here we are saying we should not be discussing among devotees, and for those who are not devotees who will not understand Krishna or Bhagavad Gita, but those who are actually explaining this to the devotees, who are actually discussing this subject matter and explaining this to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So someone who is doing prachar, who is preaching about the instructions of Krishna, Krishna says that pure devotional service is guaranteed, and the person will come back to me. But here we have to understand what it means by one who is explaining this supreme secret, or prachar, or preaching about this supreme secret. Yes, it is someone who speaks the Bhagavad Gita, but it is also someone who has actually understood the Bhagavad Gita and has actually put it into practice as well. Speaking the Bhagavad Gita from learning shlokas, or learning from the academic point of view, or learning it as a fictional material, or as something which is mythology, is not what Krishna is talking here. One who explains the supreme secret to the devotees is someone who has actually understood the Bhagavad Gita and actually put it into practice, has realized and put it into practice, and has dedicated his life to the instructions and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. These are the person who Krishna is saying pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. Okay, we have, I'm talking for myself, for example. There are, at least for me, we talk about the Bhagavad Gita, we talk about the instructions and all this, but we're still struggling. We find it difficult to practice it in our spiritual life, to practice it in reality in our life. We're not talking about these type of devotees. We're talking about devotees who have actually understood, realized, and actually practicing the instructions of the Gita themselves in their own life. But that's not to say that one should not actually speak the Bhagavad Gita from the point of view of our previous acharyas, or from the point of view of our Guru. By the mercy of our Guru, yes, one should still endeavor, because Krishna is not saying the action, but he's actually seeing the endeavor. He's not seeing the result, but he's seeing the endeavor. Yes, one should still do that, but at the same time, the endeavor should be to be like the devotee which Krishna is referring here, the one who actually understands the Gita, who has actually realized the Gita, and who is actually practicing the Gita. This is the endeavor to come to that point. If one is doing it sincerely, Krishna will bestow the mercy to the person so that they can progress even further. But Krishna says, pure devotional service is guaranteed to the one who has actually understood my message and has realized what message and is practicing my message as well. And he's sharing it to others. So naturally, if one doesn't actually understand the message or realize the message, whatever the person is actually preaching will be ineffective. It will be ineffective. There was a sage, a guru, and he was approached by one lady who brought his son to this guru, and the woman, the mother, said to the guru, "You know, my son eats lots of sweets. Can you tell him to actually stop eating lots of sweets?" And the guru told the mother, "Yes, I will tell him, but can you come next week? I will tell him next week." So the mother came with the son again next week, and after a week, and they asked the guru, "Guruji, would you like to please tell my son to stop eating too much sweet? He eats so many sweets." Guru said to the mother, "Please come after a few days' time. Come after 3 days' time, and I will tell." So mother went back, and after a few days later, mother came with the son again and asked the guru, "Guruji, you told me to come after a week, and now you told me to come after a few days, and I'm asking you again, please, can you tell my son not to eat so many sweet?" And then the guru said to the boy, "Please, sweet is not good for your health. Sweet causes lots of illnesses and disease, and it's not good to eat too many sweets every day." So the guru told that little boy. Now the mother asked the Guruji, "Guruji, so why did you tell me to come after 1 week, and then you told me to come after a few days again?" So the Guruji said to her, that, "You know, when you asked me to tell your son that he should not be eating too much sweet, I couldn't have done it because I was eating too much sweet myself. So that's why I tried to stop eating sweet so that I can tell your son. But after a week, still I was eating too much sweet. That's why I said come after a few days." And when you came after a few days, by that point, I was able to stop eating sweet. Then I was able to tell your son not to eat sweet, because there's no point me telling you something which I am not doing it myself. So this is what Krishna is referring to here. Those devotees who have realized the Gita, who have understood the Gita, and who are practicing the Gita, they are the one who pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, these devotees will come back to Krishna. But again, what about us? And the question is, what about us? We haven't reached that stage yet. Now, bhakti or Krishna consciousness is, I've mentioned that before, I don't know, maybe some of you remember, is bhakti or Krishna consciousness is both the means and is also the end result. So the end result is bhakti. And the way to get bhakti is to practice bhakti. I don't know if you getting the message, the gist. So if one is doing bhakti yoga, to be able to get bhakti, one has to get to practice bhakti yoga. Yeah? If one wants to get bhakti, one has to practice bhakti yoga. One has to practice devotional activities. So for us devotees means we have accepted Krishna, the Supreme Person. We have, to some extent, surrendered to Krishna. We have full faith in Krishna's instructions. We are still on a level where we are practicing. We are sadhakas. So for sadhakas, sadhaka means one who is using a sadhan or a sadhana to get to Krishna. So that sadhana is hearing, chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Atma Nivedanam, Sakhyam, all this are bhakti, activities of devotional service. And this Shravanam and Kirtanam is also hearing and chanting and reciting verses and talking about Krishna and hearing about Krishna. We are sadhakas. So our intention is to come to this level which Krishna is saying here. Those devotees who will get pure devotional service, because we're all talking about Bhagavad Gita every day. We're talking about Bhagavad Gita every day. At least I can speak for me. But pure devotional service is not there. Pure devotional service is not there. But should we stop? Should we not talk about? Should we not talk about Bhagavad Gita? Should we not do Bhagavad Gita lectures and classes and all this? No. Krishna is saying our endeavor. The endeavor is what matters most. Sincerely, if we are endeavoring to progress in our spiritual life by discussing about these topics, and our Goswamis have actually recommended this, that one should be discussing the topics of Krishna amongst devotees. So even though we're not on that level yet, we should still endeavor to progress in that path and do our little bit what we can, so that we can eventually achieve the level with Krishna is talking here. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Right? So one has to keep endeavoring, one has to keep discussing the Bhagavad Gita, one has to keep talking about the Bhagavad Gita with devotees, amongst devotees, whatever little realization we have to share. There is the saying which says, little knowledge is dangerous. I'm sure some of you have heard this saying, little knowledge is dangerous. Little knowledge about Krishna is transcendental. It's not dangerous. So whatever little we have about Krishna, one should share it. Like one devotee says, Bhagavadgita kinchitadhita Ganga jalalava kanikapita, which means even though we have a little bit, the message of the Gita has gone into us. Bhagavad Gita kinchitadhita. Kinchit means a little bit. Bhagavad Gita kinchitadhita. Ganga jalalava kanikapita. It is same like one has taken a drop of Ganga water and has drank it. Yeah? So Ganga water is pure. Whether it's a drop or it's a massive ocean, a little bit of Ganga water, if one take it faithfully and seriously, one will get the benefit. So the Bhagavad Gita is the same. Even one take a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, the purification is enormous. So that's why I'm saying there's this saying, little knowledge is dangerous, but it doesn't apply to Gyan. Gyan doesn't apply to knowledge, no spiritual knowledge. It doesn't apply to this, because whatever we have learned, as far as it is, of course, bona fide and authentic, and according to our Guru Parampara and instruction of Krishna, one has to share that. Because and slowly we will come to this level where Krishna is saying the one who explains the secret of pure devotional service is guaranteed. One will get it. And at the end, we will go back to Godhead. So one has to continue talking about the Bhagavad Gita, even though one is not to that level. And one has to keep sharing the knowledge, sharing realizations with devotees. And eventually, by Krishna's mercy, we will get the message of the Bhagavad Gita. And we will eventually, as Krishna says, get pure devotional service, and at the end, come back to Krishna. So hear what Krishna is saying. So Krishna here talks about the benefit of speaking about Bhagavad Gita. So I'll move to the next verse. If you have any questions, we will take it towards the end. Amoga Prabhu, so what time do we intend to end? Because I know we started a bit late.
Yes, Prabhuji, we are about 9 o'clock, Prabhuji.
Oh, but a couple of minutes. Okay.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Okay, it's fine.
Maybe you can take the questions. This verse we can continue the next session if you're happy.
It's just a short one, so we can.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Yeah.
Just that one. Yeah. So, anyone would like to actually read this, please? This verse and the translation, which is very, very short.
Can I read?
Yes, Mataji, please.
न च तस्मा मनुष्येषु कच्चिन्मे प्रियकृतमा भविता न च मे तस्मात् तन्य प्रियतरो भुवि
Right.
अन्यतरो प्रियतरो भुवि.
Translation, please, Mataji.
There is no servant in the world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Jai, thank you. So here you are. Krishna is still glorifying the one who speaks about the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So Krishna considers um, the one who speaks the Bhagavad Gita, one who shares this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, one who distributes this knowledge, that person, that devotee is actually more dear to me. Now, this world is actually means the whole creation. Right? Does it only mean this planet? It means the whole creation. But this servant in this world is more dear to me. There's no servant in this world more dear to me than he. Nor will there ever be one more dear. So that person who's actually sharing this knowledge is actually very, very dear to Krishna. Sharing this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, sharing, their realization, sharing, discussing it among devotees, and preaching it. That person is very, very dear to Krishna. I know we are 2101. Yeah, I think I will stop here because the next verse, there's a bit to talk about it. So I will stop here. So if you have any question, please.
Prabhuji, and also about Lord Ramchandra.
Oh, okay. Is there any question about this subject we talked about now?
Maybe Radha Sevaka Mataji may have one question.
Okay.
But maybe
Yes.
short and.
Right. So how do we know? How do we know if we're eligible, and how do we know we're a good devotee? And
Yes.
what other...
Now, we are only eligible if we are repeating exactly what our previous gurus have said and what Krishna has said. If we are repeating it exactly, we are eligible to actually share this message. Because Prabhupada has actually said many times, do not distort the message. Take it exactly how it was. That's why Prabhupada, the version which Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita is called Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because there are many Bhagavad Gita which are as I want, as we want, as we thought it should be, as it should have been, or as it will be. Or Prabhupada said, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Yatharup, as it is. So if we repeat the message exactly how our previous acharyas and Prabhupada and what Krishna says, we can share this message. And in that process, as I mentioned, even though we are not realized, we haven't got this level of realization, but if we are carrying this, the realization of the previous acharyas, we will be able to share this message. We are, how do you say, we've got the license to share this message. So yeah, and if we are a good devotee, now the qualities of the 26 qualities of the devotees have been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself says that. So if we have those qualities, this is what Krishna is saying, you are a good devotee. But generally speaking, the benchmark for us to know whether we are progressing in our spiritual life and while we are making advancements in our spiritual life and we are a good devotee is detachment from this world, because what is bhakti? Bhakti is a personality who has got two sons. Bhakti has got two sons. One is Vairagya and one is Gyan. One is Vairagya and one is Gyan. If one has got Vairagya, which means detachment, and if one has got knowledge, automatically Bhakti will come. So, and if one has got Bhakti, Vairagya, detachment, and knowledge will manifest in their behavior. Will manifest in their behavior. Vairagya and Bhakti will be there. So one will be detached from this world. Detached means not leaving everything and going to the forest or living in an ashram or living in a temple. No. Detachment actually means, as Krishna says, I think in the beginning of this chapter, actually, Tyaga and Sannyas, Krishna is saying the real meaning of sannyas is actually to give up the results of those activities and do everything for him. So whatever activity we are doing, we don't have attachment for the results of those activities, but eventually offer everything for him, do everything for him, for Krishna. That's detachment, whatever we are doing. And then of course, Jnana means studying the scriptures and getting the knowledge from the scriptures. Like actually the next verse talks about it. That's why I didn't want to go into this because there are lots of things to discuss. But in short, I'll just mention to you. This Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna to Arjun. Arjun, in the beginning, Karpanya dosha, prahada subhava, prichhami tvam, sambuddha chetaha. And then Arjun says, sorry, I'm forgetting the verse. Krishna says, Shishasteham Shwadimam Pampannam. I'm surrendering into you and please instruct me. And then Krishna instructs Arjun. And that was the end of the Bhagavad Gita, which is coming in the following verses. Arjun says to Krishna actually asked Arjun, have you actually understood what I've said? Is there anything which you want me to go through again? You want me to repeat it again? Even if you want me to repeat the whole Bhagavad Gita, I will do it again. Do you want me to do that? Krishna says no. Arjun says no, Krishna. Whatever you have said, I have actually understood it, and it has actually dissipated my ignorance. And I have actually understood, and I'm ready to fight, and karishye vachanam tava. I will actually do what you have told me. Now, what it means, I'm talking about Gyan, isn't it? Gyan. It means that one should actually get the knowledge from the scripture and put it in our life and act according to the knowledge given by Krishna, like what Arjun did. Because you have to remember, Arjun is a reflection of us. Arjun is a reflection of us. He is actually representing us. And Arjun's ignorance was dispelled because he got the instructions of Krishna through the Bhagavad Gita. So following the instructions given, he got enlightenment and he was able to act appropriately, the right way, because he got that knowledge from Krishna. So that's why in the next verse, actually, Krishna says, I'll quickly go this to answer your question, Mataji, and then we will stop here. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So what it means eventually is that Krishna uses this word here. Adheshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayuha jnana yagyena tenaham ishtaha syam iti me matihi. So he says here, jnana yagyena. Now, what is this jnana yagya? What is this jnana yagya? Now, I'll give you the way it's explained is like this. For us to be able to get this knowledge, to be able to get the fruit of this jnana, one has to actually, there's many yagyas. As you know, there's many yagyas. Well, of course, one of them is Sankirtan yagya, but there's also jnana yagya. And this jnana yagya is actually what's recommended for avidya. avidya means ignorance. To get avidya eradicated, one has to do this jnana yagya. One has to do this yagya every day. And I'm sure all of you can do this yagya every day. This is a yagya. It involves fire, it involves a kund, and it involves havish, and there's also the fruit. Now you may ask me how this is done every day. There's a kund, there is havish, which means yofa, samagri, and then there is this outcome also, the fruit. Every day you can do this. Now I explain to you what it means. This is one of the yagya which is actually recommended in Kali Yuga because it is very, very easy. Normally, if there's a havan or a homa, there is a priest, there is a samagri, and there is a mantra. The priest has to be pure. The mantra recited has to be exact and well pronounced. And then when the mantra is offered, and then there is the havish, which means the samagri, the offering, has to be pure as well. If the brahmana or the priest is pure, the mantra is well recited, and the havish is also offered in the kund is pure, the outcome will be desirable, which will be the right outcome. Now we can all do this every day. Now I explain to you how. The knowledge, the person who is actually doing it, the sadhaka, is the person who is doing the prayer, the offering, the yagya. The offering are the words of the Bhagavad-Gita, the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, the words of Chaitanya Charitamrita, or the Vedic scriptures. The knowledge from the Vedic scriptures is the offering. The Havan Kund is our ear. This is the ear, is considered to be the Havan, the Kund. So when we get this havish, this offering from the Vedic scripture in our ear, from the proper source, a pure source, which is from the Vedic scriptures, the source is pure, the words are pure, the offerings are pure, and eventually the outcome will be pure as well, which means realization. So this is what Jnana Yagya actually means. One should actually read the scriptures from the source, which is considered to be the priest, and then offer those knowledge in the Havan Kund, which is considered to be our ear. And the knowledge, of course, is from the scriptures, which is pure. And the outcome will definitely be enlightenment, which will be intelligence. And this is what Krishna is saying here. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So when we are hearing, when we are reading and hearing and putting in our ear, we will get the reaction, which means jnana. And this is called Jnana Yagya, which Krishna is explaining here. So if one is able to hear the Bhagavad Gita and read the Bhagavad Gita, every day, or the Vedic scriptures, Jnana will develop. And I explain, like when Jnana is there and then there's detachment, eventually Bhakti will come. So if one wants to be a good devotee, as the question was, one should constantly do this Jnana Yagya, and one should develop detachment, and we will become a good devotee. This is the Bhagavatam. And the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says one has to worship me in this way. Sorry, Mataji, the answer was a bit long, but hopefully it makes sense.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, and it makes absolute sense.
Yeah, okay. So we can only try, isn't it? Whatever we can. Yeah. Okay. So should we stop here then? Or any questions? Anyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
Amar Prabhu, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, this is something, in this verse, 1869, he says, Prabhu, if you see...
yes.
Where is it here? Is 1869 there?
Next one, yeah. Yeah, you are.
There is no servant in the world, he says, right? The translation.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no servant, which means Dasa or something like that, in any of the words in the Sanskrit.
Yeah.
So how can you say that servant
then? Well, the one who is actually talking about Krishna,
yes,
it is to be understood that he's already a servant of Krishna, isn't it? Because he's a
No,
bhakta.
that's right. That is a derivation, but this
Yeah.
is a translation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you should have the word servant in the Sanskrit, actually.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure you know that. I'm just reminding you or reminding us.
I mean, if it's a
You know,
purport, it's fine, but it's a translation.
yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
You know, when that's the reason why. That's actually a good question, because that's the reason why one has to read or understand the Bhagavad Gita from someone who has actually realized.
Mm.
So the meaning which the Bhagavad Gita carries, it's not, again, it's not a literal meaning. There is a thread to it. There's a thread to it which one has to actually understand to bring about that meaning. Okay, so for one to be able to do that correctly, this is where a pure devotee get involved. So
The
here in
Guru
this
is mentioned,
case,
yeah.
that's right, the Guru, and in this case, Srila Prabhupada, so has used this word servant, even though there's this Dasa is not there, because here Krishna said, Nacha tasman manusheshu, which means among men, you know. So there is
Okay.
no word of as you say, uh, um, Dasa,
Servant.
but
Yeah.
Priya Kliptatamaha is someone
Mhm.
who is very dear, you know. So one has to understand the thread. That's why translation of the Bhagavad Gita is not something which can be done by someone who's got a master's in Sanskrit from a university.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like this. It has to be the message has to be given by a devotee. You know, your question fits in very well in the context we are talking at the moment. It
Yeah.
has to be done by a devotee, a pure devotee who understands the thread, who understands the meaning, who understands the context, and who understands what actually Krishna says.
Uh-huh.
So it cannot be done by someone who has got this certificate. Well, you know, they've got the certificate, you know, they have done lots of work, hard work, you know, credit to them. But unfortunately, this is not the qualification to be able to explain the Gita. The first and foremost qualification is Bhaktyamam Abhijanati, which means one has to be a devotee first. So this is why we got the explanation from Srila Prabhupada, and this is what it means. Yeah.
Yes, bro. And if you can kindly tell one more thing, I had very quick question.
Yeah.
You know, this alcohol drinking is prohibited, you know, in
Yeah.
Hinduism as well. Now,
Yeah.
is it also true that any businesses which make alcohol and you are working for it or something like that, is it also prohibited? You understand? Yeah.
No, it's not prohibited. Okay.
Okay.
Let me put it okay. Let me put it in context, because what I've just said can be interpreted in many different ways. And Prabhupada, right, we've discussed it in our previous
That way, coffee also, right?
sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've discussed it in our previous session.
Yeah.
When Krishna was talking about Varnashrama Dharma, he talks about even if one is serving a bad master, but
Yes.
is actually doing the dharma, you know,
Uh-huh.
uh, it is not something which is prohibited. As far as you're doing your dharma, even if it's for a bad master, your master is not a good master, but you
Yes.
are doing your dharma. But of course, it doesn't stop here. Your dharma should be varnashrama dharma, of course, but it has to be linked with Krishna, because Krishna says that if you're doing your dharma in varnashrama system but not linking it to me, you will not get the required desired result, which is bhakti. But here, the
Uh-huh.
question is, yes, you've got these people, you know, drugs, or not drugs, sorry, alcohol and gambling organization, and all these organizations are there. You may not be working directly for them, but you may be working indirectly. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita,
Yes.
even if you're working for a bad master, but as far as you're doing your job, you're
Yes.
doing according to what's allocated to you, according to the Varna, you will still progress in spiritual life as far as you offer everything to me. You offer the results to me. For example, the part of your remuneration, part of your salary, you give something to offer, or you help in the preaching movement, or something like that. It, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But But, big but, bold letters, underline, capital. If one can avoid these circumstances, it is also recommended if you can avoid it. But if you can't avoid it, what can you do? You don't want to create more difficulties for yourself in your life, and then you won't be able to focus in your devotional activities. And then we have discussed it in the past as well. Drugs and alcohol and gambling and all this. In the Bhagavatam, there is a story of a devotee called Dharma Vyada, who was actually a butcher, but he got Krishna Bhakti. He got liberated.
Yes.
So it depends on your consciousness. It depends on what you're actually doing. But if you can avoid it, please do so. But as Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mahamikam Sharanam Braja Aham Tam Sarva Papabhyo Mokshayashami Mashaha. Abandon everything, just surrender to me. If you're surrendering to Krishna, Krishna will take care of whatever sinful reactions come along the way. Yeah?
Yeah, you can't avoid it. Even in the UK government, so much money the government makes by selling alcohol in the form of taxes, and we are taking the government services. So indirectly, that money is coming from alcohol.
Yeah.
And to put it more blank, especially in India, especially I think in Tamil Nadu, 75% of the revenues come by selling alcohol.
Yeah.
In the form of tax mark and all that.
So as I mentioned, directly or indirectly, we are engaged in some sinful activities. But if you're connecting it to Krishna, Krishna said, leave everything behind, even leave Varnashrama Dharma behind. But as far as you do everything for me, whichever position you are, I will take care of it.
Yeah, okay. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Mataji was asking a question, sorry.
Yeah. Mataji, sorry. Sanchita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hari Bol, Mataji.
Yeah, Haribol. Yeah, beautiful lecture as always. Last week I missed it, but I did listen to the recording and it was absolutely amazing, especially the 1866. It's one of the most important verses of Gita. I mean, the most confidential knowledge. So, Prabhu, today what you discussed, like at one of the shlokas, you mentioned that little for other things like mundane things, little knowledge is dangerous, but for transcendental, I mean, spiritual knowledge, little knowledge is also transcendental. So, is it said in the perspective of like devotees, or I mean, even if like normal person, even if a little knowledge they gather, like they're trying to understand the Gita, is little knowledge of Gita is good for them as well. So
yeah, I was talking in the context of spiritual knowledge. So
yeah, so okay,
yeah.
The reason I'm asking is like, the movie this year, like last year, Oppenheimer, how there were controversy. You must have heard about it, like, how he has used one of the shlokas of Gita, like, death I am, I'm the destroyer. And he's used it like to make the atom bomb in 1945. And then he dropped it in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And like, and he said his inspiration was Bhagavad Gita. And because he did not understand, of course, he did not understand it from the spiritual perspective. He just understood it for knowledge and how destructive it was. Like we can understand that sometimes little knowledge, instead of understanding the whole perspective where Krishna was talking from, he has just picked up one of the wrong shlokas, and that was very badly depicted in the movie also, like while having intimate relationship, that shloka was said. So all this is happening around, so it's very sad to hear and absorb all this. But yeah, so sometimes little knowledge can do so, I mean, destructions which are inconceivable, like what happened in Japan. So just wanted to mention that. Not a question exactly, but yeah.
No, actually, well, I mean, I don't know I haven't seen the movie and I don't know the context and all that. And
I haven't seen the movie as well, just read it a few months. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he was doing a discussion on it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I heard the discussion briefly. Okay, I mean, just to add on this. Now, when we're talking of little knowledge from the Shastra, we are talking of knowledge which is bona fide. We're talking of knowledge which is approved by our acharyas. What Prabhupada has said, what our previous acharyas have said, what the parampara, the authorized parampara says. This is knowledge we're talking about. Now, okay, yeah, he took the verse, as you said, I am death, I'm destruction. Yeah, that's right. It's true. But it doesn't, he's doing it out of context. He's doing out of context. He's relating it to something which is destructive and very negative. So even though this Krishna is death, Mrityu Sarvaharashchaham, it says, I am death, I'm all devouring death. He is death, but he's linking it to a wrong piece of work. So this is where the danger is if we do not have the guidance of a guru. If we don't have the guidance of an authorized, authentic, we don't have authentic guidance. We don't have authorized guidance. So, I'm sure he hasn't got a guru who has told him, use this verse to develop the atom bomb. That person is not even a guru who has said this to him. So that's why we're little knowledge for as far as Shastra is concerned, we're talking about authentic knowledge, sanctioned by Krishna, not just quoting something and then using it. And then, yes, Krishna is all devouring death. It's true, but you're quoting it and putting it in a different connotation, which end up with something which is not according to the Shastras. Yeah. So, like, for example, Arjun was asked to kill his great-grandfather, his uncle, his cousins. Krishna asked him to do it. That authorized knowledge. That's authentic knowledge. But someone using the same principle to go on a rampage and start killing people because, look, he's doing adharma. So I'll go there and start killing him. But that's not authorized knowledge. That's not authentic knowledge. It has to be authorized by an authority. So Oppenheimer definitely didn't have any authority. Authority means authority guiding him, and he used things out of context, and eventually, he linked the Gita and the bomb and all this. So definitely distortion of knowledge. So when we're talking about little knowledge in the scripture, means realized knowledge from the previous acharyas. This is what we are sharing. Even though we haven't realized this knowledge, but we are using this realized knowledge. We're sharing the realized knowledge from the previous acharyas, and which is authentic, which is authorized, which is bona fide. So this is what I meant.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, what he did was in 1945. That was one thing, but again, making this movie and just putting our holy scripture in bad light, like people do. Of course, devotees are few, and this knowledge is still confidential, and not many know it through the right source and the shastras. So, how Bhagavad Gita is presented like widely in this day and age, wrong people getting the wrong information. That Gita, as you mentioned, like Krishna, he's a warmonger and all that. Like all those kind of information goes to people in a larger perspective. So it's a big job to Of course, this is nothing in our hand, to correct so many people. Only it's all Krishna, so plan.
I mean, there will be lots of people who will be misinterpreting the Gita and coming up with weird ideas. But unfortunately, they haven't got the guidance. That's why they're coming up with this. If they had the guidance, they wouldn't have come up with those unfavorable conclusions or weird conclusions. So that's the reason why one should always have a guru. One should always have an authority, like Arjun had Krishna. So to get the right approach, Amara's Prabhu's question also, why the word Dasa wasn't here? Because there is a reason for that. And for that to happen, for that to be interpreted in this way, the pure devotee is able to say that. We will not be able to do this. So that's why the pure devotee, the guru, should be there all the time to guide us in this, in these subject matters. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we are nearly 9:30 o'clock. Maybe we can take Ramakatha maybe in the next session, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, so are you saying we skip the Bhagavad Gita on the next session, or?
Yes, Prabhuji, we keep hold the Bhagavad Gita and we can speak on Ramakatha.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. And so when am I? Is that when am I doing next? Sorry, when what?
When you're available, Prabhuji. So next.
Okay. All right. Okay. Whenever I'm available. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think so. Today is 20th. Yeah. The next one will be on the 10th of February.
10th of February. Okay. Not. Is there any other days, Prabhuji? So maybe Mondays, something like that.
Okay. Maybe during the week. Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. But
Tuesday,
not on Monday. Sorry. Not on Monday.
Not on Monday. Okay. Okay. We are occupied Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Yes.
Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. Yes. But I mean, you can all do this. I mean, I'll be more than happy to come and talk about Sri Ram. I mean, I just love it. You know, Valmiki Raman. There's so many things which is so interesting in Raman, but unfortunately, I'm working, and it'll be difficult.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. We'll wait for you to come on. Maybe
We can discuss it. We'll see what we can do in terms of this. Yes. So maybe going forward, just a suggestion again. It's just a suggestion. You are the one who makes these decisions. I don't know if there is some significant event or significant festival coming up, maybe around those time or a week before or something like that. Maybe devotees can bring and discuss about this. Like, for example, Nityananda Prabhu appearance day or Gaur Purnima or Govardhan Puja or things like that. So maybe we can discuss because we have come towards the end of Gita. I know that we have to go back to the Gita again, but maybe something to consider in the future.
Yes, Prabhuji. So we have got teachings of Lord Chaitanya to accommodate along with Bhagavad Gita. So just splitting like 45 minutes and 30 minutes. Bhagavad Gita takes 45 minutes, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So this is in our plan. So we'll need to see how that goes, Prabhuji. And also there are devotees proposed like a Kunti Devi prayers and Ishopanishads, different ones. But those can be, as they are small things, we can take them as a separate special sessions.
Yeah.
So teachings of Lord Chaitanya, so it is there at the moment in the queue as a first priority along with Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, you can decide, yeah, how it goes. Yeah. I was thinking about having it not regularly, like if a festival is coming, we can accommodate someone can talk about that particular festival the week before or a few days before, something like that, around that time. It's something to consider, just a suggestion.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your kindly giving your time, valuable time to all of us. Dear devotees, kindly unmute and do 3 loud Hari Bols to Hari Rahas Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, Prabhupada ki
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It is a very valuable to us every
Hare
moment.
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Manga Prabhu. Why you not do it on Monday, like evening, Ramayana?
Ramayana. So, yes. So yeah. Maybe we'll on Monday or maybe tomorrow also we can do it. Tomorrow morning, if it is okay. As part of shloka learning, so maybe just we'll take half an hour just to read Ramayana for 1 or 2 chapters at least, covering of birth of Lord Ramchandra.
Yeah, that will be good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prabhuji, with your permission, so we shall move on to the next part of our program, Narasimha prayers.
Yeah.
Okay, Meena Mataji, would you like to go on Narasimha prayers?
Okay.
You want to go on your own, or you want someone to respond, Mataji?
Good to someone response.
Okay. Usha Mataji, would you like to respond to Meena Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
प्रह्लाददायिनि
प्रह्लाददायिनि
हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः
हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः
शीलटङ्कानकालायि
शीलाटङ्कानकालायि
इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यमिततो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यमिततो नरसिंहो
पहे नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
नरसिंहो मदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहो मदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गार ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव करकमलवरनकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गाम् ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवतीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदत्ता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय, प्रहलाद महाराज जय, प्रहलाद महाराज जय, प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय
जय
प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
जय
नित्य बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
हरि बोल। जय श्री कृष्ण प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
हरि बोल
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautifully done this Narsimha prayers. Thank you. Okay, so dear devotees, so we shall speak. I mean, we shall continue reading this Ramayana tomorrow morning. It is starting. It's not continuing. It is starting just on the auspicious occasion of Ayodhya Ram Mandir under Lord Ramchandra's deity installation. It is very auspicious. So we shall read. We do the slok as well very quickly, and then we'll move on to Ramayana. That is from the Veda base. We shall read those lines, few lines. Okay, so if you're all happy, and Prabhuji, with your permission, we shall conclude our session.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, yes. Hare Bo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की
जय
जय
Srila Prabhupada ki
प्रभुपाद
jai.
की जय।
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna conscious night,
हरे
everyone.
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
थैंक
कृष्ण।